What's up, guys? Rob from LegalizeSewerSlam Gaming here, bringing you another Player Profiles episode, and this time I'm here with ValacPAB. Valac, say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone.
And yeah, so we're going to be talking to another NASB player. I believe you are a Ren and Stimpy player.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to be getting into some Ren and Stimpy. I think you're the first. You're the first like Ren and Stimpy main we've had on, so that's going to be exciting to talk about. But before we get into all that stuff like that, if you guys haven't seen, I recently did upload the NASB 6-month clip compilation. Go check that out. Big shout out to everyone who helped me get all that done, including Valac, who submitted some banger clips for that. So just a celebration of, you know, our great community for 6 months. And I do plan on doing some other videos, maybe a little bit of a teaser here. Might have a intro to Garfield video coming out soon. Was talking to some of the other higher level Garfs who are much better than me on that one, so we'll see. But yeah, so Valac, why don't you give us your background? You know, tell us who you are, other games you've maybe played or been involved in the community in, and stuff like that.
Well, obviously my name's ValacPAB. My competitive history is a bit shorter than maybe some other people. I started a bit young into Smash 4. It was kind of like I played all the other Smash games leading up to it. I remember. So I'm Melee was released on the day the year I was born, but I still was playing Melee because there was a long period before Brawl released, and then I played Brawl. Then finally Smash 4 came out, and that's when I discovered when Smash 4 came out, when the competitive scene, that there was people in tournaments. I remember specifically Bizarro Flame was the things I saw. It was just the cool shit he was doing. Made me want to pick up Ganondorf because I was always a Marth player. Smash 4, I played Yoshi. I swapped mains like every second because I couldn't. I could not. And then I finally realized it's because I didn't like the game.
Don't blame you on that one.
Yeah. Then I go into Ultimate. Me and Ultimate, I wasn't particularly a fan of it. I just played it because it was the new Smash game. I still played Yoshi at that time. I still do, but I don't really play Ultimate anymore. The different one that I got into is actually Team Fortress 2.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, like Mirror Man, but way worse. I was not as good at all. I played Highlander. Heavy weapons guy was my particular character of choice. I was never really a top player, nowhere close. I was mid-level, but I just enjoyed playing it. I stopped playing because trying to impress mid-level players as a mid-level player is just not trying to get on teams. That was what made me quit. But then NASB came out, and I instantly fell in love. I remember I saw Colony do funny stuff with Ren and Stimpy, like, Stampy. And I laughed my ass off. And ever since then, I've been spamming down strong and down airs to everyone and terrorizing everyone with those moves.
So you had said that you liked Melee, and then you weren't as much of a fan of Smash 4 and Ultimate, and then you really, really liked NASB. Is it the speed, whereas NASB is much more like a very faster paced game than Smash 4 and Ultimate? Is that what drew you in, or what drew you into NASB originally as well?
It was like because it was a new game, the tech skill of it, like. And in like Melee, I still play Melee a bit too. I should have said that, but in Melee, like the tech skill and all this stuff is already discovered for the most part, and it's like long list, laundry list. But when it was a new game and that kind of speed, I like the speed and the feel is the big thing. Rollback netcode helped a lot because that meant I could actually play online. Oh, I could not play a single game of Ultimate Online.
Nintendo's online service, yeah.
I still experienced that, despite it. And it was like learning the tech skill it clicked fast. Like all the I like just pressing air dash down, just doing stuff. And I still like every like day I can just go into training mode and just not even like lab specific combos, just do tech skill. Air dash I like sit down and do air dash nair on Aang for like 5 minutes was how long I was able to do it.
Wow. Jeez. So, you mentioned you played Yoshi and Marth. So what drew you to Ren and Stimpy? Was there similarities to maybe Yoshi and Marth that you saw that you liked, or was it just kind of the funny Stimpy nonsense that was going on?
Um, Grounded down strong, the Steampy is my favorite move in platform fighters, and just being it's so fast, it's so funny. And anytime I love part of the reason is because Ren Stimpy is a frustrating character to fight against.
Yeah, you definitely
I
can be.
I love frustrating my opponents. I love timing them out if I can. I will do it to you no matter what. I don't care if you're my best friend. I will time you out. It's because it's funny to me, and I will laugh at it the whole time. And yeah, that was kind of the reason Ren and Stimpy kind of bonded with me. It's just funny moves that just came out. Anytime I hit down strong off stage, it's just like a yeah. It's kind of like a get fucked.
Yeah, his dare is definitely like the ultimate you're not allowed to play the game kind of move. Especially, this patch it's still really, really good. It still hits like a truck. Previous patches, it being even better just invalidates like so many characters with no hitboxes on their recovery. So I do want to ask, because you had mentioned labbing the tech skill, what's your setup? What controller do you use to play the game?
The Switch Pro controller.
And is there any specific reason for that, or is it just because you got used to it playing Smash 4 and Ultimate, or Smash 4 was on the Wii U, but
obviously the first controllers I was using was the GameCube controller. Um, the problem with it was that GameCube controllers are fucking expensive, like $200
yeah.
for a controller. And I saw that the Pro controller was there for $60, and it's durable, it lasts forever, and that's kind of the reason I picked it. It was just durable and will last forever because I'm a rager and I'll just spike that shit.
Are you thinking about picking up one of the magnetic Panda controllers that you could just put back together like it's a Lego piece?
I thought about it, but kind of just depends.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens to the Panda controller, but I do know a lot of people like the Switch Pro controller for a variety of reasons. One of them being the hand discomfort situation where GameCube controller, specifically with this game, I'm seeing more and more people switch away from GameCube controller for the hand discomfort kind of situation. And you said that you lab a lot, so do you find that like the Switch Pro controller is good just for repetitive motions, like 5 minutes of fast fall and airing and stuff like that?
Yeah, because so the thing I do with it is like I hold, because you can just hold X and A at the same time because the buttons are so close together, and you can just repeatedly press it as basically one motion, and the shoulders feel great to me, and I'm not too picky about controllers in general, so I mean, I love the Wii U gamepad. It's just to show like how much I don't care much about the controller. So it felt comfortable to me. I can hold it for an hour and not feel anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of just always been my go-to choice for a while.
It's definitely, I don't use a Pro Controller, but the times I've used a Pro Controller, it definitely feels a little bit more ergonomic. And hand health is important. Just a general tip for everybody. Hand health is very, very important.
I always do this hand exercise where you stretch your hand.
Yes. Very, very important.
Before every tournament game, I shake it out. Yeah, just always make sure you're taking care of your hands. It's don't hacks yourself.
Yeah, you only get two of them, so. I'm very interested to hear about this tech skill that you've been talking about, where you just go into training mode and do one thing over and over again. I guess just kind of walk me through that process, and how do you think that helps you in terms of long-term gameplay?
Well, it specifically helped a lot during Aang era, the Nair era. Um, and it's just muscle memory. That's what I'm forcing myself to muscle memory air dashing down aerials because it's a very important tech. And honestly, there's rarely a moment you don't want to do it. There's some characters that want to, like, I think sometimes Garfield wants to just let it fall, the drill fall down. But most of the time, and most characters in general, just want to fast fall it right back down. And it's more. It's not like I'm doing it because it's a regimen I have to keep up with. Because I don't really, I'm not too much of a competitor nowadays. I kind of more commentate stuff, but it's just because I'm bored. Honestly, I just sit down and just if I have like 10 minutes, I'll just go open up the training mode, just press the buttons and run around, press buttons, and most of the time, and sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I'll just. Sometimes I can. I've gotten to the point with the fastball there that I can just look away and just talk to someone else, and just still be doing it.
Yeah, which is really important. And also, one of the things that, because I'm kind of like pretty much in the same boat as you, this is really the first game that I took the first fighting game I took kind of seriously. Like, I'd only ever played Smash very casually. And this was the first game I was like, all right, I want to try to compete in this game and play in tournaments and stuff. So building that finger speed too was the biggest thing. Like, being able to hit those buttons as fast as you need to, because this game, your inputs per minute in this game is like insanity. So,
Yeah, yeah. You were talking about hand cover and ditching the GameCube controller. That's because if people don't know, it's because NASB's DPI or what I think that's what it's called is insane. Your inputs per second is constant movement, and it can be kind of hard in that sense because that's where I believe the complexity comes from. Because it's just like you have to be so fast on your thoughts and your inputs. It's very micro thoughts and just thinking, and sometimes that looks like mashing, but there is thought to it, and that's what sometimes you. That's what kind of my job as a commentator most of the time is, just to make sure people know that there is some complexity to the cat dog pressing snare over and over again.
it's not just an option that they're just hoping hits. Yeah. Um, where do you find the balance between uh, training, say, like you said, fast falling aerials over and over and over again, versus getting real game experience against opponents to learn things like reads and stuff like that in this game? Do you think that one is more important than the other, or like how do you get a balance of those two things?
When it comes to those things, you kind of want to. So my whole thing is like, if I was actually like serious, super serious about playing, I at one point I was, and this is what I did. It would be 10 minutes. I would stand in training mode and just as a warm up. That's my warm up. That's my hand warmer. Just starting pressing inputs and then find a game and just play and, until you can't. And if it's been a while and you can't find a game because Switch's player base is a lot less. There's not as much matchmaking on my grinder server. I have one for Switch and like it's not dead. I wouldn't. Nothing. NASB is not dead.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's like a lot of them have jobs and stuff. Have to have stuff they have to do. So it's like it's not as active, and in the times that I'm up and ready to play. So just play some, go find a game, and if there's been a long period of time where you can't find one, just go back and go back until you don't feel like doing it anymore.
Yeah, very much at this point, it's accepted that the PC version is the version that the community uses for pretty much everything. Um, but I guess I know that is a good point to bring up. You say you do play on mostly on Switch, but you have played in some tournaments on PC. So I'm curious for your from your point of view, where going from Switch to PC, where I I would say 99.9% of the top players are on PC. Is that like, is it weird going into a tournament saying, okay, now all of a sudden, okay, now I got to play guys like either like Tafar, Bodhi D, Blazing Pasta in this tournament potentially. Like, how do you go into that tournament feeling like that? What's your mental thought going in?
don't really think about that because, like, yeah, it's completely different going from the Switch player because where I'm kind of the more of a dominant figure. I can kind of mostly win those tournaments. Sometimes I get messed up if I decide to play Leonardo the whole tournament, but um, but when it comes to switching over, for starters, the only thing that feels different from me going from Switch to PC is that I can play on other Ark Armada Invasion and not want to want to quit.
Like a PowerPoint slide the entire time. Yeah.
It's pretty bad there. Yeah, and it's just like I'm pretty good with nerves. I've always been pretty good with nerves, and so I just don't really think about it because I remember I was playing Captain Planet, and I just was calm about it. And I don't really know the answer to the question because I've never cared about the nerves. I just play. Um, I do get mad. I'm always mad. Like I lost to Blazing, and I was just like, damn it. Fuck.
That also, I guess this goes into the question about keeping a good mental game when it comes to tournaments. You said that you're somebody that doesn't really think about, oh, all of a sudden, oh, now I gotta play like pasta. That's not something that gets you. But how else do you keep a good mental? And then also, do you feel like your hours or however long you've been training in training mode, just doing the same thing over and over again, do you think that also helps you just go into this being like, all right, I've labbed this, I know how to do this, and I'm prepared for this?
The only thing I truly struggle with is when because like I do go into it with a lot of confidence because my main issue for when I play versus a good player way better than me is messing something up, having an opportunity to take it and messing up, and that's kind of why I do that training regimen to make sure don't mess it up, never mess it up, and that's truly the points where I get really upset, and that's when my mental can kind of it's weird because like my mental is basically I lost it. I'm like I basically it's bad. Like don't do this, but I rage and that's how I get it out, and I'm ready for the next game. Uh, it's like unleashing it all, and then just all right, good.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely get like a reset, where like there are times when the frustration just builds and builds and builds and builds, and if as long as you're directing that rage at like yourself, I think that letting it out and kind of being like, all right, we're good, let's get back to this. It's definitely something that can be a good thing rather than bottling it up. Like obviously if you're in a venue, you don't want to like start yelling at people's faces or whatever, but you know.
That's the odd thing. Like when I'm at home and just playing, I will like even in a voice call, I can just start raging. The moment I'm at a local, it's like I'm not even mad. Like when I lose, it's weird. I'm never actually like mad. Like I would if it was the same situation on at home online versus in person in a local, I don't get mad. I don't get it. I that's a genuine part that just like, why does that happen?
It could be like a human element thing, right? Like you're seeing other people in the room, you're seeing the people next to you, you're like, all right, it's not just some faceless person that's beating me over and over again. It's like this guy is here and he's good. He's playing better, and that's just the way it is. I'm actually curious because I don't really have a local scene here, and I'm curious to hear about your local scene. Do you find that playing NASB offline, like versus online, is way better? Because I personally love playing offline. I love playing online too, but offline NASB is a whole other beast.
So I will say, there's not much of a local scene here. I'm in Mississippi. There's the times I've gone to locals, it's more of Smash, but I have gone to one NASB local, and it was launch. And funny enough, that's the only time I've won a local was the NASB tournament. I absolutely destroyed it. They were not even ready.
They weren't ready for the hands.
I was thinking I was gonna. At that time, I was trying to be like Aang main with Ren and Stimpy Pocket, and I was just like, I'll play Ren and Stimpy until it loses, and then it never lost. So I just said, okay, well, I guess I'm a main of that character now. And when it comes to offline versus online, there's definitely some. It's like weird for me because I can't. I don't like. I honestly get mad from when a bad rollback happens. That's like
Yeah.
when it's just like when I hit a dare and then I'm
Rolls
slow
back
watching.
into yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck happened? I'm like, what in God's name happened here? And but every time I play it, it doesn't matter to me as much. Like obviously, I would prefer playing offline.
Right.
Like offline is much more smoother. Um, but I would give up anything because it feels good to play on my side. The problem with delay base and Smash Ultimate awful is that it feels awful to move in lag. Like obviously ping lag can make it awful to move, but when it comes to any bits of lag, it just makes it awful to move at all. And that's when I have the problem. I'm just like, no, I don't want to play this because like at the very least, I'm in control of myself in rollback.
Yeah. And
Whatever my opponent does is different.
so I've asked this question to pretty much every person I've interviewed, and I've got different answers from different people. So I'm curious on your thoughts on this. When things aren't going well in, say, like a tournament set, do you find it's better to stick to the things you know and stick to your guns, or do you think it's better to switch things up a little bit? Because I believe it was Tafar who said he likes to just stick with it, stick with the game plan, and maybe adjust some small things, but overall stay pretty consistent. And I've had other people tell me that they're willing to just throw everything out the window and completely change it up. So I'm curious as to where you fall on that spectrum.
So my answer would be it depends on the situation. Like what are you fighting? Are you fighting like a horrible matchup for your character? Are you fighting an even matchup? Are you fighting are you playing against someone who's swapped to a secondary? Um and it definitely comes down to like my thoughts is definitely like if you really are so like afraid of doing it, the best bet you have is to just stick with your guns. But if your gut feeling says to make that change to like maybe a secondary or a different, completely out of whack stage, sewer slam. But
Yeah.
but that could definitely help it out. But I would say like in general, my answer definitely lies more on just stick to your gut, and stick to your gut or stick to your guns is kind of kind of my philosophy, and because obviously my thought is definitely it's like take a breath for a second and think for a second. You have a bit of time before you have to jump back into it. Use that time and just think about it. What is happening, and is it because of my character or is it because I'm being stupid?
Yeah,
and,
definitely. Oh yeah, go ahead, continue.
and if it's not, I was just gonna say stick to your guns or stick to your gut. It's a great slogan. That's a great slogan.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Hell yeah.
So they also mentioned that you do a little bit of commentary. So why don't you talk to me about that? Because my last interview was actually Blackamar, who's one of the most well-known commentators we have, and we had a really good conversation about commentary with him. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your commentary, maybe some of the tournaments you've commentated, and then what's your commentary style? Just talk to me about ValacPAB commentary.
My start to commentary on the very first time I've ever gone onto a stream to talk about the game was Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Right here. PX Nick East number 2. Which is funny because it was the one where Carcat pressed snare the entire tournament in one. And I was definitely a really awkward. I had never done this before. Commentating in general is something I've always wanted to do. Like harking back to the Team Fortress 2, what I really wanted to do was get good enough so I could become a commentator for it. I really was loving the commentary. And some of the tournaments I had commented, I've never gotten the chance to get an offline major. I'm hoping to change that, but it's just like obviously the biggest reason why is because I'm a green commentator. I just told you it's brand new to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've commentated Thirsty Thursdays. I've commentated the monthlies. Royal Fumble, PX. Um, any tournament that wants to ask me to commentate, I'd probably say yes because I just really enjoy doing it. In terms of style, I like to think that my commentary is it's a bit more hype caster, I would say. Um, I definitely have some elements of like analytical, and I like speaking about history between two players. If they have beef, I will make sure to point that out because that's great. That's great
It's
content
content.
to point out. It's like this is a grudge match. They do not like each other. Like I remember Tuttle versus Black and Bar in PX. I was just like, this is the grudge match. We in for it today, and um, yeah, I definitely like because like it's not. I say hypecasters just because I genuinely get excited when a combo happens. I'm like, and I get like so I start yelling. Um, Also some propaganda. I always
What
got to spread some sewer propaganda wherever I go.
I do want to get into the Sewer Slam thing. We're gonna save that for the end.
Hell yeah.
Because I do want to hear your thoughts on that. But I also asked this question of Blackmar. Who's your favorite character or favorite matchup to commentate in terms of like characters?
Hmm. Interesting. It's really weird because I don't particularly have a favorite. I obviously really like commentating Ren Stimpy because I don't get many opportunities to talk about my main. And, like, the longest time I was pretty negative on the character, but whenever it's on screen, I like to point out some things like all the intricacies of what Blazing Pasta's doing and how. And most of the time I was just like, wow, I did not know I could do that. What the fuck? Man, I suck with this character. And it's just. But then I remember last term I commentated with him in it. He started doing down tilt and then DI got caught a DIN with it up. So I'm like, you can do it.
Well, that's why it's good to watch top players. You know, you learn things.
Yeah, and it was just. It's definitely. I guess I would definitely say it's just Ren Stimpy because I never see it unless Blazing Pasta comes, and seeing character play and being able to talk about their matchups and what I like about it, and it's definitely more enjoyable because I get to sound like I know something for once.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's interesting for you having both been on the player side of Switch, PC, and a commentator. So, what has been your favorite moment of NASB so far? Whether it's a big tournament win or a hype set you got to commentate, or just in general, what's been your favorite NASB moment to this point?
um, I would say it was definitely um one of my highest placing PC tournaments, which was a PX where I got fourth. I've gotten second in a PX, but that was a very scuffed one where I three players from my pool DQ'd, so I was already in top three. Got first seed, carried the first seed, so I got winners finals, and only beat. I got top two, only beating PTMs
Hell yeah.
because whatever for some reason Meth 96 decided to beat UPG. Thank you for that one. Uh, But yeah, like it was definitely that fourth place because there was a lot of meaning to that personally. I was going through a very bad patch, like horrible, and I used that tournament to, like at the time, competing is like my comfort for that during that time, and it was just me getting out of that slump and doing the best I've ever done was definitely like a help to me.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, just in general, I think one of the cool things about the game as of right now is when you play in a big tournament like that, you know, and you're generally going to play a couple people that you know, so it's always fun to play your friends and then place high and just have that kind of like moment where you're like, wow, you know, I just got fourth. I got to play some of my friends. It was really fun and just kind of get that big boost. So I'm glad to hear that it helped you out with that.
And honorable mention to my unbeatable record. I have made two top players rage quit out of a tournament for beating them.
That's impressive. I've never made anyone rage quit out of a tournament.
So,
So
so one of them was because I, I, we quit out because of lag, and it was 3 stocks to 1, and they, it was a pat. Both of us passed the lag test, and then he was like, "Can we restart stocks?" And I said, "Fuck no, I'm restarting the whole match." And then I won on a last stock situation where I nearly timed him out. Sorry, Tusku.
starting some beef.
No, I think he found it funny too. Now, yeah, it was definitely funny. That's just kind of how I am. I brandish myself as this. It's called bracket scumbag. I will use any ruling, any bit of besides cheating, like using a lag switch or some bull crap like that. Like none of that bull. Anything that's in the rules, I will use it to my advantage. You could be my best friend in the entire world, and if you pause in the local, I will force you to take that stock.
Well,
What's the point if you're not trying to win?
the phrase "we take those" exists for a reason. So, uh, speaking of big tournaments and stuff, we have a patch coming pretty soon, allegedly after Genesis. We just had pretty recently a big patch that changed a lot of things. So, how do you feel about the current meta? Do you like where the game is, and then do you like allegedly where the game is going with things like chip damage on shield being added to the game? Just talk about the current meta. How do you feel about it?
In my honest opinion, this is the best meta we've ever had. Like, obviously, there's April O'Neil being the menace to everything, but I would take 5 April O'Neils than the RTC meta.
Yeah. Or the PTM diet 0% combo.
I wasn't. I didn't mind that. Obviously, I'm a Ren and Stimpy main. I did not mind that shit. I was dunking on those fools.
So how do you feel? Oh yeah, go ahead, continue.
But yeah, like a lot of things coming. Like I think um, some of the things I've heard from beta testers leaking stuff. Sorry, Thaddeus. Stuff like Gur reverting back to level 1, and it's just like that one seemed weird to me. Like I feel like they're hitting the wrong thing. I liked Gur in his state. The problem is that I feel like it's Gur plus Nair.
Yeah.
I think Nair is the problem because I like the idea that Zim is this a projectile character, the zoner, or I call it set play because really what it is because he's using Gur to set up into combos, but and getting rid of Gur just kind of defeats the point of the character. Nair is the problem because it's the same thing of being like able to just shoot at projectiles that are near impossible to play around sometimes. And then when you decide to just camp them out, they have this. They have a cloud Smash 4 Cloud Nair on crack to run towards you with.
Yeah, yeah. Allegedly, this is all alleged. There's like you said, there's going to be some Zim nerfs and an April nerf or two coming. Where do you feel Ren and Stimpy fits into the current meta? Mid tier, high tier? How do you feel about him?
If you had asked me this question 2 months ago, I would have. I remember a while back during RTC meta, I said that that Ren and Stimpy was not solo viable, and I still stand by that. Because I said the same thing. There was in the RTC meta, there was never a Ren and Stimpy that solo won a tournament. Every time Blazing had to pull out the Lincoln because Aang or SpongeBob showed up because they're impossible matchups in that time.
True, it's very true.
And people said like, "Oh, you're bullshitting because you guys the big Nair's like, bro." And but now it's a definite high tier, top 10. At the same time, I think the character is in the right spot where it needs to be. And that's probably a shock to some people, but it's a high advantage state character that just absolutely destroys you with a very, very glaring weakness. And I like that kind of character. As much as it sometimes makes me rage when I have to up B below the stage any point in the match.
Yeah, the recovery can be exploitable. But it's I do appreciate you saying that even if Ren and Stimpy's not the best character in the game, that they're in a good spot, because we do have some times where people are like, "Oh, buff my character, buff my character." It's like, well, your character's already like top 5. Do they need more buffs because they're not top 1? So it's I'm glad to hear that you're not one of these people that's just like, give me all the buffs, make my character literal god, like delete you at 0. Like,
It's like the problem is it's like what would they even buff? Like the only thing I would see is like maybe they don't like the current state of Ren and Snippy being this glaring meanness and nerfing the advantage state but buffing disadvantage. That would be the only thing they could do. If they just buff disadvantage, holy shit, this meta would be awful for people. Blazing would never lose a tournament if that happened.
he's so good. I played him once, and I played him in bracket in a best of 5, and I took 1 stock through the 3 games. Like, he's, oh my god, he destroyed me. Um, so going forward for the game, what kind of mechanics, or maybe, is there a character you might want to see add to the game? Like, what kind of things would you like to see for the game going forward from a, actual like mechanics or gameplay wise situation?
Functioning crossplay.
Oh, yes.
I want to emphasize functioning because at this current state of Switch, like obviously I have a lot of experience on Switch. If you put crossplay, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
The stages are too laggy. That's the biggest problem. The game does not run well on Switch,
Nope.
and that needs to change. We need something to lower the garbage on our system, and that was always my worry. Like back when it was announced, I was like, "That shit ain't gonna work." I was that ain't never going to work at launch. And other things like a character, it would definitely be. I think a lot of people would probably say this. Jenny,
Yeah.
My Life as a Teenage Robot, Jenny. I think that's that because simply like it's not my favorite character ever, but I think looking at Jenny as a character, it offers a very unique opportunity for a toolkit and moveset that could be a really, really cool character. Maybe Jimmy Neutron too would be cool. Kind of like, because I don't know about Jimmy because it sounds like it would just be Zim.
Yeah, like gadget character. It'd be interesting.
Maybe like more focused on Rocket or I think there's definitely some things you can do that are different. I'm just worried about small character with gadget throwable projectiles. It's just like, oh, and the Invader again.
Yeah. um, yeah, the Switch thing, that's been a discussion throughout the community. I mean, I don't know if this is possible. I guess, like, I'm just completely throwing this out in the air, out of nowhere. If they could maybe do something like what we have with the Diet NASB mod, like maybe a toggle for backgrounds on and off. I don't know if that would help the Switch at all. I'm not a programmer, so far be it for me to tell them what to do. So
Sanji,
yeah, literally, like get
throw up the
Sanji on the
Sanji
line.
bat signal.
This is the Google symbol in the air. So what kind of things do you want to see for the community? Maybe more tournaments, content. Like, what kind of things would you like to see the community do?
I think content is definitely a big part. I think more streams so that people stop posting the 0 viewers on Twitter and be like, ha, Digger!
Yeah.
But I just say, when they posted, when I got that screenshot at 4 a.m. when everyone's asleep and just like, what the fuck are you expecting? It's 4 a.m. No one's on! Everyone's, because it's a very much an American game, not as much in the other sides of the country. And honestly, it's like you could put any other platform fighter, like even Rivals. Like right now, it doesn't. It's obviously a bit more, but it's like 13. Right when I last checked it, it's like that doesn't mean the game's dead. The game is thriving. Rivals, for a game, it's absolutely amazing. With subs like the announcements of 2, people are hyped. But they don't have many Twitch viewers, so it's obviously just completely dead. But and in terms of otherwise, I don't think the devs need to do anything for community because they're doing a lot. They're giving a lot. I think visibility needs to change. And that comes with making a lot more content. Because the biggest problem I see is that the reason people think it's dead, and one of the biggest reasons, because we're not anywhere else but our own enclosed Discord, the NASB Grinders. We're nowhere else. Where we do all of our discussion there, which is not a bad thing. I will get that out. It's very healthy and leads to a lot of discovery. A lot more friends are made in the community. But in terms of as a whole, it does hinder our visibility across all other fighting games, and some people don't even know the Discord exists, which is what we're trying to change. I've saw people posted on the Reddit, people posting it other places, and I think that's the biggest issue right now is visibility. We're kind of enclosing ourselves and then only showing up when some big account says our game is dead.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see. I'm encouraged to see other people in the community. I've been making a lot of content. Like, I'll just throw out a few names. I know ASAP has been making content. Cactus Guy just uploaded a Sandy montage. That's another thing. And all of Valak's links will be in the description, so please go check out his stuff. Those will be like right at the top of the description. So go check them out. And just, yeah, like you said, getting more of our names out there and more visibility, I think, is huge. Obviously Hidden Temple was huge for us. Genesis is going to be big for us. So I'm excited to see where things go from a content perspective. So I have one last question before I open up the floor to you. And it's SewerSlam. So I want to hear your case for the legality of SewerSlam. So for those of you that don't know, if this is like your first NASB video, whatever, SewerSlam is a very interesting debate within the community. It's a stage that has been legal as a counter pick, sometimes illegal. It's very small, very short vertical wise, and it has this like slime that moves your characters around. Think of like Wispy from like the melee stage, where it kind of blows your character around, but you can fight it. So very interesting discussions have been had about SewerSlam. So I want to open the floor to you so you can make your case for this stage.
I do want to start with one thing, which is what brought me to this stage to my attention. It was Switch's players have a lot of I like to call them fun havers, people who don't play the competitive stages on quick play. And I remember one time they took me to SewerSlam way back months ago, and I was just like, ah. Then I played on it. I was like, this isn't bad. I was like, this has a case. And I was actually the first person to bring up the stage in terms of a serious motion. I would go to streamers and say, hashtag LegalizeSewerSlam. Then I brought it to Pride's attention, and then kind of trolling. That was kind of the start, I was just kind of like, haha, legalize the stage. And he was like, oh, I'll check it out. I'm just like, oh.
Oops.
And then it was legalized. And I've never turned back. I was heartbroken when I found out that it was banned. And I still stand by that it was perfectly fine. But in terms of my argument, I made the video LegalizeSewerSlam, which talks about it. But to give a quicker summary, in terms of this patch, because my arguments for past patches has been blown holes through it, and I don't care. But in terms of this, the game has slowed down a lot in terms of what it used to be before. There's a lot more interactions. I mean, just recently when we were testing it a couple weeks ago, there was nearly a timeout on the stage.
Wow.
You probably should know it's Top versus Garfield. Of course it did.
Fair enough.
It's just the arguments that I truly think are the biggest problem is the vertical upper blast zone. That is the only one I give a fuck about. Because it is a bit problematic. In terms of the size, is it though? That's always been thing. I play a heavyweight, and I'm like, I've been able to maneuver around pretty well on this stage. And I think people, if they actually looked into it more, they wouldn't realize yeah, there is a lot of movability. What is the word?
Maneuverability.
Maneuverability, yes. Thank you. That you can do. The slime, In my video, I said, I'm just gonna completely cut that argument. It's not that big of a deal,
Yeah,
bro.
I don't think so either.
Kanto, shut up. It's not. It is not a problem. Holy crap! People are like, I hate the slime. It's like, what does it even do? Most of you guys are in the air the whole game.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like we should turn it off. And it's like, you really want to get rid of the slime in the funny Nickelodeon game? Like, come on.
It's a little sacrilegious, yeah.
And um I think, and in terms of like other things about it, like it puts this, my actual like true feelings on it is it puts the sixth stage on there, and I think the 5 stage rule set sucks. Oh, it sucks. It leads to a lot of just, oh, if I can ban harmonic, but then the stupid, or I can ban arc and harmonic against the shredder, but then that dumb shit puts me to sweet dreams. Or if it was during the PTM Reign of Terror, it was, oh, I could ban Sewer Slam, but then they take me to Jellyfish, or not Sewer Slam, but Rooftop, which was has a low ceiling, then, or Jellyfish, and they took me to Rooftop, and I die at zero anyways, or Harmonic, and I die at zero anyways. And it's just like, if we have that one ban, and then DSR, you could say, okay, well, I don't want to go to Sewer Slam, maybe. I don't like the smalls, so I will ban Sewer Slam. Taking Jellyfish. Try my hardest. If I lose, I lose. I ban Sewer Slam again. They have two of their stages completely cut off. They can't play on sewers, and they can't play on Jellyfish. Now they have to pick something that's still in their advantage. I think there's definitely still room to pick your advantage, but you have to think a bit more instead of just going, yeah, let's just go back to Jellyfish, or we can just go back to sewers. It's just like, now you actually have to think about, okay, so this character sucks on this stage, but my character's good on this stage, but there's the same skill. It just opens up a lot more free strategy when it comes to the stage pick, which I think is very important to a game. And it's like the argument is, sewers good enough to warrant having it there? And I think yes, it is. But if the community really wants to ban it, then the stage that needs to go as well is Urkin Armada, the polar opposite. And people are like, well, it's not as bad because I don't die at zero. Bro, you die at 200 now. It's just as bad.
Yeah.
It's horrible. So pick one. It's either both or none. You can I think 4 stages or 3, like if you want to be the ultra boring, is very. It's just the rule set you have to do, because the 5 right now are awful.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting because like we don't have, this immense stage list just yet. So trying to navigate that with potentially adding a stage that maybe people don't like, but a better rule set for the stages, it's interesting. It's very interesting. So if you want to see his video on that again, that would be on your YouTube channel, correct?
Yes.
So his YouTube channel link will be in the description if you want to see his full video on SewerSlam. So before we wrap things up here, I usually like to open the floor to the person that I'm talking to, and just if you want to give any shout outs, if you want to talk about anything, any last minute stuff you want to throw in the video, the floor is yours for as long as you want it.
I mean, I want to give my first shout out to my socials, which will be down below. I definitely plan to make more content. Have a couple videos. My style is definitely not, a gameplay focus. It's much more of a sit down, scripted talk about things. I try to be more funny about it. That's what the Sewer Slam video is about. It's a talk, but at the same time, I'm trying to be a bit more funny. Shout outs to the Switch community. They've been my homies for a while. I think my last thing is I'm a NASB commentator. I think the only thing I dislike is obviously the Sewer Slam has become kind of ingrained to me. But I think some people don't see me as the thing I do the most, which is commentate tournaments, and so I want to definitely know I'm a NASB commentator. Now, don't forget it. It's what I love doing the most, and I think, yeah, that's about all I have.
All right, so check out Valak's socials down below. Hit up his Twitter if you guys need any commentary for anything. He does good work. I've seen clips of his commentary before. He definitely does good work. So hit him up if you need any commentary. Check out his YouTube for some funny videos and more content coming in the future. And once crossplay comes out, I'll have to hit you up and we'll get some games going. And yeah, I think that's about it for this episode. So like I said, guys, keep your eye on this channel for maybe potential Garth video. I'm not going to hard confirm it, but I've been thinking about it. Keep your eye on Valak's channel for some more content coming in the future. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day. And if you want to check out the Grinders Cord or anything related to NASB, all of that stuff will be in my description, as well as the video description of the intro video I did, like the basic mechanics, has a lot of like the modelings and stuff. So any questions or anything, let me know down in the comment section. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a good day, and we will see you guys again next time.